Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing? I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I just finished running this morning. So if if you're turned off by the sweat on my face, I apologize for that. I'm gonna angle this a little bit so that the sun doesn't glare us out of existence, because I got the sun behind my head, which they say is a no-no for video. I'm gonna turn down another street so you can see me a little bit better. But anyway, I was asked yesterday about the thing with R. Kelly, and in case you don't know R. Kelly, who I don't really like the guy at all. I think it's kind of repulsive that we have people that will keep supporting him because he makes good music, even though I think there's a lot of evidence to say that he's done a lot of harmful things to young women. There's a report, basically where a family did a press conference, and they were saying that R. Kelly was holding a bunch of women against their will, and all this other stuff. And of course, with Kelly's history, I mean, you cannot defend R. Kelly. That doesn't even make any sense half the damn time. I mean, well, how about this? You can defend his right to the truth. You can defend his right to fairness and justice, but you can't defend him as a good person. I don't think R. Kelly's a good person when it comes to women. I feel like he's flawed, deeply flawed, and I think that we should really reconsider our community, in terms of the fact that we have a lot of people that will defend him despite the fact that he's done some pretty terrible things. So anyway, as these reports come out about Kelly, having these young women in his place and whatever, it's interesting because one of the girls' families was saying that R. Kelly was holding them all against their will, and he's running a cult and things like that. And of course, it's easy to believe because he's R. Kelly, but then also he's a black man, and I think it's very easy for people to believe that black men are capable of doing anything subhuman. And then later on, there was a report or another story on TMZ where one of the ladies went on camera and said, "I'm not being held against my will at all. She said, I'm here. It's my decision to be here. And that was it. I mean, and so the other question I had was, well, these underage girls, and the women are not underage, So I had a couple of quick thoughts. The first thought is, if you want to know why the R. Kellys of the world are able to exploit the black community and take advantage of young girls, it's largely because we've lost our commitment to having fathers in the home. Everybody's on this whole "I can do it all by myself" kick of either fathers. Some fathers are just choosing not to be there, but a lot of fathers are not being given access to their kids. I know a lot of these guys as well at Black Men United. I think that narrative needs to be changed. We need to stop sitting here pretending like the black man is solely responsible by himself for the failures of the black family. He's not solely responsible. Some of these women are ratchet and some of these men are ratchet, and that's the honest to God truth. I think also what's interesting is that people want to pretend like that's like, if you bring it up, they think you're blaming mothers or you're attacking somebody, and everybody's so fucking focused on not being attacked that they're not focusing on solving the damn problem. It ain't about you. It ain't always about you. It's about the fucking issue. It's about the kids. Excuse my French. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cuss, but when it comes to our kids, I get so angry because you got people out here that are ruining our children, and everybody thinks that if you say something about the fact that your child learns how to dance before they learn how to read, that somehow you're being attacked. Say, no, you're not being attacked. Your child is being protected. A child molester is not being attacked when somebody calls him out for molesting a child. So a bad mother's not being attacked when somebody calls her out for not raising her children properly. The fact is, it's a matter of protecting the kids. So anyway, the second thought that I had on this is that, I don't really know what to do with a grown woman who chooses to be in a bad relationship. I don't know what to do with that. Because on one hand, if you say, if you jump in and you say, no, we know better than you do. We know what you should be doing with your body. We don't think you should be sharing your body with him. You shouldn't be with him. You'll get attacked. You got the feminists that are like, my body, my right, my decision. I can make whatever decision I want. I'm an independent entity. Okay, fine. B-I-N-D-E-P-E-N-D-N-T. Be independent. And I'm going to independently let you go and have sex with R. Kelly. I mean, what am I supposed to do? But then at the same time, you want to sort of lay this out as if somehow he's hypnotizing these misguided, immature, unintelligent women into sleeping with him. And he might be doing that. I'm sure he's got some kind of appeal to women, but you can't on one hand make the argument that, you know, that women should be allowed to make whatever decision they want and that they're intelligent enough to do what they want at their own free will, and then at the same time simultaneously argue that they're somehow too stupid to make their own decision when it comes to dating somebody like R. Kelly. You know, I can tell you what really happens with feminists is that they want to proclaim what I would almost consider to be hyper-aggressive victimhood. You know, a very, very nasty passive aggressiveness. Like I'm an I am a meek little, weak little woman who can't do anything for herself. And if you disagree with me, I'm gonna kill you. You know, it's I'm kidding. That's an exaggeration, but it's true. It's sort of like I don't understand that. I don't understand even when you had the situation with Ray Rice and his wife, who chose to remain with him. Last I checked, I think they're still married. And you have feminists saying that you're a horrible person if you support this woman's right to preserve her family. And I'm like, but wait a minute, I thought you were in favor of women being free, women making their own decisions. If that's the case, then why are you only supporting women's right to be free when they do what you tell them to do? That's not freedom. That's actually another form of oppression. And so when I saw this go down, my thought was, well, I mean, if the women are grown and no one can prove that he's holding them against their will, and they're saying, I want to be here, yeah, sure, they could be victims. They could have the whole Stockholm syndrome and everything else that all these other ways they try to intellectualize bad decisions. But at the same time, it's still a bad decision. They're choosing to remain in a bad relationship, and you can't look at them, whether they're 21, 25, however old they are, 19. You can't sort of say, oh, but they don't really know what they're doing. Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing? You know, that you can't sit here and say that they're not smart enough to make their own choices, because every time I turn around, you have people telling me that women are smart enough to make their own choices. If a woman has my baby and decides she wants to abort the baby, there are women that will say she can make her own choices. You have no right to tell her what to do with her body. Well, in this case, I say, like, okay, I don't have any right to tell her what to do with her own body. She's choosing to sleep with R. Kelly. But you can't simultaneously demonize or criminalize unfairly someone who's participating in this raunchy ass transaction. You know, it's a bunch of people decide to get together and get freaky and do whatever the hell they do up in their house. That's their choice. You know, and later on, sometimes we regret our choices. But, you know, I'll tell you what's interesting is that you don't see that on the flip side when it comes to young men. While you will hear a feminist say, you know, that a 20-year-old college student who gets drunk and has sex with some guy, that her decision is not legitimate because she was drunk or because she was young or because she was somehow tricked into having sex with him. You don't really allow that same argument to be made about a 20-year-old boy who is accused of raping a woman. You can't say something like, well, you know, he was 20, he was drunk, he was making bad choices, he's a young kid, he was under the influence. You can't make that argument. People still want to send his ass to prison for the next 200 years. And I just think that it's kind of reflecting the insanity of our society. You know, and I would say that, you know, that's not really my society. My society is the black community, where you tend to have a lot of people that do have some common sense. And in this particular situation, as bad as it is that these women want to hang out with a creep like R. Kelly, I haven't seen any evidence to say that anything illegal is happening. He's got his women that are living with him. He's doing they're all doing what they want to do. And I don't see any reason how you can argue unless you've got proof, you know, that he's somehow doing this against their will. Now, the minute that there's proof, just like in the Bill Cosby thing, I mean, it's kind of weird because I don't really like Bill Cosby or R. Kelly. But, you know, if you got proof, then you've got something. But if you just have your emotion and you just believe that this is happening, well, that ain't enough. That's just not enough. So at the end of the day, though, what I really want to reiterate is if you really want to talk about protecting our kids, just know that it's hard to do that without the fathers. I know a couple of cops, two cops actually, in different cities who both did work in the crime against children unit in their divisions. And they would go investigate crimes where, a little baby was raped, stuff like that, or a teenager. And they said that most of the time, it's a single mom who has her boyfriend around her kids and doesn't realize what's happening while she's at work all day. That basically these kids are not protected because the father's usually the protector. Kind of like the James Evans Jr. Layout on Good Times. When you had the strong fathers in the house, it wasn't as likely that an R. Kelly could be taking out your 13, 14-year-old daughter. But if a mama's working 12 hours a day and there's no father as a backup, that's more likely to happen. It happens all over Chicago. I live in Chicago. I see it all the time. These little girls getting victimized by their older men who provide them with money or attention that they never got from their dads. So if you want to be honest and real, you talk about what's real. But if you want to live in a fantasy land where you somehow think that doing the same thing we've been doing for the last 20 years is going to get us a better result, then be my guest. Because at the end of the day, it ain't gonna get no better if we don't make it any better. And right now we're not making it any better. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys soon. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins. Have a great day. Peace.